Have you ever felt as though the doors to your future are tightly shut, with every step forward met by invisible walls? C.S. Lewis once remarked, "Hardships often prepare ordinary people for an extraordinary destiny." This thought invites us to reflect on the purpose behind our struggles. Today we begin with a prayer aimed at unlocking the potential within you and clearing the paths that seem blocked. If your life feels stagnant, if progress seems impossible, and every direction appears closed, this prayer is crafted with you in mind. It is not just words, but a powerful plea to God to eliminate the barriers, shatter the chains, and open new doors. Imagine the freedom that comes from seeing your life flow with renewed energy and purpose. Stay with us, persist in your prayers, and trust that God will intervene in your journey, opening the way in every area where you seek His guidance. Whether it's in your finances, career, relationships, or family, believe that God will make a way. If you're ready to see the transformation, leave a comment on this video, sharing the area where you seek an opening. Let's journey together in faith. When you examine your current circumstances, it might appear as though the journey to financial freedom, finding the right companion, achieving your aspirations, or realizing your dreams will stretch on indefinitely. Yet be ready, because after this reflection, you will begin to see doors opening in the most unexpected ways. God, in His infinite wisdom, has stored up favor, priceless opportunities, healing, and divine connections that will present themselves along your path more swiftly than you can imagine. As I share this with you, I am reminded of a profound truth from the Bible. In Isaiah 43, verse 18 to 19, it says, "Forget the former things, do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up, do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland." Similarly, Proverbs 16, verse 3 reassures us, "Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans." These verses encourage us to entrust our joys, worries, and aspirations to God, knowing that when we align ourselves with His purpose, He directs our steps and bestows blessings beyond our comprehension. In his writings, C.S. Lewis eloquently expounds on the theme of divine timing and trust in God's plan. Lewis once noted that faith is the art of holding on to things your reason has once accepted, in spite of your changing moods. This insight reminds us that faith is not just a passive state, but an active engagement with God's promises, especially when circumstances seem bleak. Like a hummingbird, which despite its small size and vulnerability, embarks on a relentless pursuit of nectar, overcoming formidable challenges, we too must pursue our God-given goals with tenacity. The hummingbird's resilience mirrors the resilience God calls us to exhibit in our faith journey. No storm or contrary wind can deter it from its mission. And in the same way, no obstacle should discourage us from trusting God's plan for our lives. Lewis also emphasized the significance of surrendering to God's will, recognizing that God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks in our conscience, but shouts in our pains. It is His megaphone to rouse a deaf world. This suggests that even in our struggles, God is actively working to guide us towards His greater purpose. When we yield our desires and plans to Him, we open ourselves to the miracles He is orchestrating behind the scenes. What seems like a delay or a detour may very well be God's way of preparing us for something far greater than we had envisioned. Therefore, no matter how complex or insurmountable your situation might seem, take heart in the knowledge that God is at work, crafting a plan that will surpass your expectations. Like the hummingbird, persist with faith, knowing that God is making a way for you, even in the wilderness. Trust in His timing. Commit your journey to Him, and witness how He transforms the impossible into the possible, the barren into the fruitful, and the ordinary into the extraordinary. In the journey of life, placing your trust in God is the cornerstone of witnessing profound transformations. Just as a seed planted in fertile soil eventually blossoms into a vibrant plant, so too does faith in God lead to swift and unexpected positive changes. When you surrender your life to God, you open yourself to witnessing miracles, for He has the power to turn the most impossible situations into ones filled with possibility. This surrender is not a sign of weakness but of profound strength, as it acknowledges that God's wisdom far surpasses our limited understanding. The story of the Israelites is a timeless testament to God's faithfulness. Despite the trials and hardships they faced, God's higher plan for them never wavered. He led them out of bondage and into a land flowing with milk and honey, fulfilling His promises in ways they could never have imagined. This serves as an assurance for us today. No matter how challenging our current circumstances may seem, God's plan for our lives is one of peace and prosperity. Jeremiah 29 verse 11 reminds us, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." These words are a beacon of hope, guiding us through the storms of life with the knowledge that God is always in control. Even when our dreams seem distant and our path unclear, we must remember that God's timing is perfect. Faith, as small as a mustard seed, has the power to move mountains and make the impossible possible, as Jesus teaches in Matthew 17 verse 20. This kind of faith is not about the magnitude of our belief, but the trust we place in the one who is sovereign over all things. God is the ultimate door opener, and when we trust in Him, He guides us to the right opportunities that are beyond human effort, opening doors that lead to blessings and prosperity. Challenges are inevitable, but they are not insurmountable. Instead of losing hope when facing difficulties, we are called to trust that God is working in our favor, preparing us for success. Each obstacle we encounter is a stepping stone, a part of the divine process that shapes us and molds us into who we are meant to be. As C.S. Lewis wisely said, hardships often prepare ordinary people for an extraordinary destiny. This perspective transforms our struggles into opportunities for growth and deeper reliance on God. Perseverance and faith is key to seeing God's promises come to fruition. It requires holding on to the belief that the right opportunity will come at the right time, according to God's perfect plan. This perseverance is not passive waiting, but an active, hopeful anticipation of God's intervention in our lives. It is the understanding that no matter what our background may be, we are part of a new, blessed generation destined for a bright and prosperous future. The chains of generational patterns can be broken, and we can step into the fullness of God's promises. As we lift our prayers to God, we can expect to see new paths opening before us. These paths lead to the prosperity that God has prepared, not just materially but in every aspect of our lives. God's blessings are comprehensive, encompassing our spiritual, emotional, and physical well-being. The promise of prosperity is not just about wealth, but about living a life that is rich in God's presence, filled with His peace, and overflowing with His joy. In all these things, we give thanks to God for His unending guidance and love. He is the one who turns our mourning into dancing, our sorrow into joy, and our trials into triumphs. We are reminded daily that God's grace is sufficient, and His strength is made perfect in our weakness. As we trust in Him, surrender to His will, and persevere in faith, we will see His promises fulfilled in our lives. The journey may not always be easy, but with God by our side, it will be filled with purpose, peace, and prosperity. God's plan for your life is one of peace, hope, and prosperity, as Jeremiah 29 verse 11 declares. "For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." No matter your past or the circumstances of your upbringing, God's intentions are clear. He desires for you to flourish and grow in every aspect of your life. This divine promise serves as a beacon of light, guiding you toward a future filled with potential and opportunity. Your thoughts and beliefs play a crucial role in manifesting this promise. Romans 12 verse 2 urges us to be transformed by the renewing of your mind by allowing God to renew our minds. We embrace a new way of thinking, one that aligns with His promises and opens doors to endless possibilities. This transformation is not merely about adopting a positive mindset, it's about embracing a faith-filled perspective that trusts in God's plan, even when the path ahead seems uncertain. God acts as our divine coach, guiding us through life's challenges and helping us unlock our fullest potential. Just as a coach sees the potential in an athlete and pushes them to achieve greatness, God sees your potential and equips you to overcome obstacles. Ephesians 3 verse 20 reminds us that God is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine. According to His power that is at work within us with God's guidance, there is no limit to what you can achieve. In embracing this journey, it's essential to understand that God does not judge you based on your past, but on the potential He has placed within you. He calls you to a life of abundance and peace, one where your future is not determined by your previous mistakes or limitations, but by His grace and purpose. This invitation to a prosperous life is an invitation to leave behind old habits, negative mindsets, and the chains of your past, stepping into the fullness of what God has in store for you. However, this journey requires unwavering faith in God's promises. Hebrews 11 verse 1 defines faith as confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. Trusting in God's promise of prosperity and allowing Him to lead you is the key to unlocking the blessings He has prepared for you. It's about walking in faith, even when the road ahead is unclear, knowing that God's plan is perfect and His timing impeccable. Prayer is your most powerful tool in this journey. It is through prayer that we communicate with God, seeking His guidance, wisdom, and strength. James 5 verse 16 emphasizes the power of prayer, stating, "The prayer of a righteous person is powerful." Deuteronomy 31 verse 6 echoes this sentiment, encouraging us to be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Perseverance and faith are crucial in overcoming life's challenges. The Bible is replete with examples of those who endured trials and tribulations, but remained steadfast in their faith. It is in these moments of adversity that your faith is tested and refined, making you stronger and more resilient. Romans 5 verse 3-4 reminds us that suffering produces perseverance, character, and character hope. This hope is what sustains us, knowing that God's promises are true and His faithfulness unwavering. As part of the generation of Joshua, you are called to live differently, to set a new standard for your family and break the cycle of negative patterns that may have plagued previous generations. Joshua led the Israelites into the Promised Land, not by following in the footsteps of those who doubted, but by embracing God's promise with unwavering faith. In the same way, you are called to lead your family into a new era of blessings, one where God's promises are fully realized. Your mission is not just for yourself, but also for those who came before you, those who prayed, believed, and worked hard but did not see their dreams fully realized. Their faith and efforts were not in vain. They were laying the groundwork for you to accomplish what they could not. Hebrews 11 verse 39-40 speaks of the faithful, who were all commended for their faith, yet none of them received what had been promised, since God had planned something better for us, so that only together with us would they be made perfect. You are the continuation of their legacy, fulfilling the dreams and promises that God has entrusted to your lineage. The journey God has set before you is one of hope, potential, and fulfillment. Embrace the power of renewed thinking, trust in God's guidance, and persevere in faith, knowing that you are part of a greater plan. Through prayer, courage, and unwavering belief in God's promises, you will not only achieve personal prosperity but also fulfill the dreams of those who came before you. This is your time to step into the fullness of God's plan for your life, setting a new standard and paving the way for future generations. In the journey of faith, we often find ourselves reflecting on the words of Romans 8, verse 28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. This verse serves as a reminder that even when the path ahead seems unclear, God is at work, weaving together the threads of our lives into a tapestry of goodness, purpose, and divine alignment. It is a message of hope and reassurance that, despite our circumstances, God's plan is unfolding, and His hand is guiding us toward a greater good, often beyond what we can see or understand. The legacy of our ancestors plays a significant role in this divine orchestration. Their prayers, faith, and unwavering trust in God are like seeds planted in the soil of time, seeds that have taken root and grown, providing the foundation upon which we stand today. Just as a gardener plants with the hope that future generations will enjoy the fruits of their labor, our ancestors toiled in faith, believing that their efforts would yield blessings for their descendants. This legacy is not merely a historical footnote, it is a living testament to the enduring power of faith and the importance of perseverance. It is because of their sacrifices and their steadfastness that we are able to experience the blessings and successes that come our way. An apt analogy is that of engineers constructing a bridge. Though they may not live to see the completion of their work, they labor diligently, knowing that their efforts are essential to the structure's stability and eventual completion. Similarly, our ancestors, through their prayers and dedication, laid the foundational beams and pillars of our spiritual inheritance. Their work may not have been glamorous, and the fruits of their labor may not have been immediately visible, but their contributions were vital. They built the framework that supports our faith today. And it is upon this strong and sturdy bridge that we continue to walk, advancing toward the promises of God. This brings us to a profound responsibility, the duty to continue the legacy of faith. Just as our ancestors laid the groundwork for us, we are called to build upon it, ensuring that the legacy of faith, hope, and love is carried forward to future generations. Our actions today are the seeds for tomorrow's harvest. We must ask ourselves, what kind of foundation are we laying for those who will come after us? It is a call to intentionality, to live lives that are not only blessed, but also a blessing to others. We are to be the bridge builders of our time, reinforcing the structure with our own prayers, faith, and actions, so that those who follow may walk even further along the path of righteousness. In doing so, we are reminded of the blessings that God bestows upon us, blessings that are often the direct result of the prayers and faith of those who came before us. The Bible tells us that God will bless us with things we did not work for, houses we did not build, vineyards we did not plant, because He is faithful to the prayers of our ancestors. These blessings are a testament to the generational impact of faith, where the fruits of one generation's labor become the harvest of another. It is a divine cycle of grace and favor that spans beyond our own lifetimes, illustrating the far-reaching impact of a life lived in faith. As we stand on the cusp of receiving these blessings, it is crucial to prepare our hearts and minds, believing that greater things are yet to come. The present moment is not just a time of waiting, it is a time of active preparation and expectation. We must align our actions with our prayers, ready to receive the outpouring of God's favor and provision. This is a time to cultivate a spirit of gratitude, recognizing that what we are about to receive is not solely due to our efforts, but is also the result of God's faithfulness and the prayers of those who have gone before us. Isaiah 41 verse 10 offers us comfort in these moments of anticipation and preparation, so do not fear. For I am with you, do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you, I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. This verse is a powerful reminder that even in the face of uncertainty, God's presence is constant. He is our strength and our support, and His promises are unfailing. When we feel the weight of the world pressing down on us, we can take refuge in the knowledge that God is upholding us, guiding us through every challenge and every trial. In response to this divine guidance, we are called to take action. Just as our ancestors engaged in the spiritual work of prayer and faith, we too must engage actively in our spiritual lives. This engagement is not passive. It involves a conscious decision to step into the flow of God's blessings and to participate in the spiritual realm. By commenting, subscribing, and sharing this message, we are not merely interacting with content, we are empowering the prayer, amplifying its impact in the spiritual realm, and participating in the movement of God's Spirit in our lives and in the lives of others. We close with a prayer seeking God's presence, strength, and guidance as we continue to walk the path laid before us. We ask for His wisdom to navigate the challenges ahead, for His strength to sustain us, and for His grace to open doors of opportunity and blessing. We believe that God is at work, aligning circumstances and orchestrating victories that we cannot yet see. In faith, we declare that His plans for us are good, and we trust that He will bring them to fruition in His perfect timing. May we continue to build on the legacy of faith that has been passed down to us, and may our lives be a testament to God's goodness, a bridge to the blessings that are yet to come. On the journey of life, we often find ourselves burdened by unseen forces, obstacles, and cycles of frustration that seem insurmountable. As believers, we are called to seek the blessing and consecration of God over every aspect of our lives. This prayer is not merely a plea for help, but a powerful declaration of faith in God's ability to remove any power, visible or invisible, that hinders our progress. Just as C.S. Lewis once reflected, hardships often prepare ordinary people for an extraordinary destiny. We must trust that God is preparing us for something greater, even when the shadows of darkness loom large. The call for the destruction of darkness and barriers is a cry for spiritual liberation. We must recognize that the chains of stagnation, cycles of failure, and the weight of illness and frustration are not merely physical challenges, but are often spiritual battles that require divine intervention. Ephesians 6 verse 12 reminds us, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." This verse teaches us that our battles are fought on a spiritual plane, and therefore we must arm ourselves with the full armor of God, seeking His strength to break these chains. As we petition for the opening of doors and the release of blessings, we must remember that God's timing is perfect. Sometimes, what we perceive as a delay is God's way of preparing us for something far greater than we could ever imagine. Proverbs 3 verse 5-6 encourages us to trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. This assurance allows us to approach God with confidence, knowing that He will open doors that no man can shut and release blessings that have been long withheld. Divine protection and guidance are cornerstones of our faith journey. In every decision and step we take, we must invite God's presence to lead us. Psalm 32 verse 8 promises, "I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye on you." This divine guidance is not only a source of comfort, but also a powerful tool in navigating life's challenges. As we walk in faith, we must also remain vigilant in prayer, understanding that our connection with God through daily communication is what fortifies us against the enemy's schemes. Faith is the currency of the kingdom, and through daily prayer, we deposit that currency into our spiritual accounts. The consistency of our prayers creates a ripple effect in the spiritual realm, opening incredible and supernatural doors that lead to growth, advancement, and prosperity in all areas of our lives. Jesus taught us in Matthew 7 verse 7, "Ask and it will be given to you, seek and you will find, knock and the door will be opened to you." This promise from our Savior encourages us to remain steadfast in our pursuit of God's will, knowing that He is faithful to respond to our petitions. In sharing this prayer with others, we not only spread the power of God's Word, but also invite blessings into our own lives. As the Bible teaches in Luke 6 verse 38, "Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. By encouraging others to engage in prayer, we participate in a divine exchange that enriches both our lives and the lives of those we touch. This prayer marks the beginning of a new and blessed phase in life. As we declare that previously closed doors are now opening and long-awaited opportunities are appearing, we affirm our belief in God's protection and blessings. C.S. Lewis eloquently said, "You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream with this affirmation. We embrace the future with hope and courage, knowing that God is with us every step of the way." As a messenger of God, I, Paul Davis, conclude this prayer with a final blessing. May your life be filled with God's favor, and may you walk in the fullness of His promises, seeing every obstacle turn into a stepping stone towards your divine destiny. Amen.